Morning, and of course, it's a beautiful Saturday morning. All right, it's been a while we had this combination.
Yeah, it's been a while. It's good to have you on the show.
Definitely.
Yeah. All right, of course, we'll be starting with the stories that made the headlines from the days. And then we'll go through the governor's activities, travelogue, and then we'll come to our interview segment, after which we'll wrap it up with global updates. Of course, I'm beginning from here, from the Saturday Tribune. At the major story there says ADC, NDC, article demand independent probe of PFIPC scandal. Falano asked Jabiamila to step aside. That story is on page 2. On page 4, Orire, we did not pay ransom to terrorists. That's coming from Oyo government. All right, Lautech introduces new measures to enhance cleanliness, workers' welfare. Story is on page 5. And of course, monitor terrorist flood in southwest mining site. Dr. Bashir Kofi tells government. The story is on page 8 and 25. All right, a bill court overturned judgment allowing hijab at International School Ibadan. We went for 2 children in the absence of our target, kidnapped gang leader said. I made my first 1 million naira stealing my friend's child. The story is on page 14. That's according to the suspect. Hunger in northern Nigeria reaches worst level in nearly a decade. That's coming from the United Nations. 17 million in 9 states face starvation. The story is on page 5. So it's no longer hunger, it's even starvation. We move from hunger to starvation.
Yeah.
All right, let's take all the stories there. This morning, One World Bank launches new partnership framework for Nigeria to create jobs, boost financing investment. Some other stories there on the APC candidates appeal for unity, urge members to accept primary results. We'll come to page 4. Terrorism. U.S. withdraws troops after anti-ISIS operation in Nigeria. Makinde debunks rumor about abducted Oriri Pupil's teacher. Ekiti lawmakers launch book on administrative law on Attorney General. Right on page 5, at least 18 killed in Niger communal clashes. That's coming from the police. Sanwo-Olu Ayedatiwa, others bid ex-commissioner Akindele Odumbaku farewell. Why media government are constantly at each other's throat? That's coming from Tinubu. Governor Yusuf flags of distribution of 150 trailers of fertilizer for 2026 farming season. Goes Presidential Council. Timmy Frank demands forensic probe. All right, and still on page 6, Delta hosts International Founders Conference. 52 Kano inmates for 2026 NECO. NABI's examination. Right on page 7, you have Benue ex-SSG dies after gunshot injuries in suspected bandit attack. Reps panel proposes special court tougher penalties for crude oil theft. On the interview page, we have monitor terrorist flood in southwest mining site. Dr. Bashir Kofi tells government, says not on a list, most irresponsible. On the Ask Your Doctor page, you have genotype AS and malaria, muscle loss in old age, fruit and diabetes, how many bananas a day, mango and diabetes, problems with fast food, a sleeping position and your health, signs of kidney problem. Those are the stories there. Let's come to the Women Wealth and Wills page, how your investment portfolio should look after 50. All right, my wife brandished cutlass at me in church during Sunday service. That's according to a pastor. He impregnated 18-year-old member of his congregation. That's according to the wife. My husband abandons home every time he receives salary, woman tells court. And of course, my husband starved me disrespect my parents, that's according to wife. I don't want divorce, that's according to the husband. And of course, you have my husband accuses me of prostitution, threatens to disfigure me. All right, my wife didn't tell me she already had 2 children before our marriage. Scammer. All right, my husband accused me of fraud, beats, threw me out into the cold night. All right, divorce and marriage palaver. All right, I've taken that story. Or your police state campaign against cultivism, other vices to Ibarakwa schools. Societal gist you have from construction to royalty. Mega Mond boss Olumide Oshunshina emerges Olu designate of Ifoland. All right, when Ibadan went to go up for historic marriage, that story is also there. All right, let's quickly flip through. Despite government directives, Lagos waste crisis deepens, may trigger public health hazard. Lagos NMA chairman warns there are challenges, but we are addressing them. That's coming from Loma. And of course, we come to page 18 and 19, covering youthful exuberance. Lesson from Ondo school students. We go to Bajabi Amila. Catch Adeyemi if you can, or your NSCDC arrest address cafe, cyber cafe operator over alleged job racketeer. Right. Intimacy, managing your emotions for marital success. And of course, we'll come to the Voxel page. All right, we'll come to page 18. We have had no peace of mind since they kidnapped our children while they were writing their exams in Borno. Many children from Orire schools who witnessed the beheading of their teacher will suffer severe mental replay of that violence. That's according to experts. And some sports story, Ronaldo could make 2030 World Cup. That's coming from Shah. And of course, no summer move for Seme. And of course, those are the stories we'll be taking this morning from the Saturday Tribune newspaper. Thank you for staying tuned. Over to you, Victor.
Right, quickly, I've got the front pages of 3 different papers, right? Just starting with the Nation newspaper, where we have special investigator demands trial of Buhari Mustafa over alleged $6.2 million fraud. And also another story on page 6 of that paper, Oshun 2026, IGP meets Adeleke, parties raids the Riot Act. Insiders behind Adeyemi scheme to be identified and prosecuted, says presidency. You would want to read up on page 4. How Yahoo Boys stole 7.2 million naira from judge's bank account. That's coming from the EFCC chair. Court to arrange over alleged defamatory statement against Abdul Razak. I sold my friend's son for 1.3 million naira, suspected child trafficker. An appeal court holds hijab use in Ibadan International School. And now to the Punch newspaper, where we have this story. Uche Jumbo says reputation more important than beauty in Nollywood. The families lament government silence as hundreds remain in terrorist captivity. Our SGF requested office space for fake agency. And xenophobia, 500 await evacuation from South Africa. Lagos residents count losses after flooding nightmare. British courts ignored CCTV evidence, wrongly convicted my son of robbery, says a Nigerian murder. And of course, we have this one. A Supreme Court avoids a First Bank seizure of GHL oil vessel. Emefiele, Buhari should have faced trial over $6.2 million fraud, says an investigator. Lastly, on the Saturday Vanguard, we have this interesting story. Federal government has questions to answer that's coming from Falana. Atiku, ADC, NDC, and others as a demand independence probe. We also have Uche Naji's forgery allegation. And of course, why Nigeria may miss next World Cup. And the Supreme Court orders release of crude aboard FPSO Tamara Takumi to General hydrocarbon. U.S. House of Reps honors Uzo Dima. And from vision to reality, Kwara government factory creates 2,000 jobs. attracts private investment. And that's as much as we can take right now on the newspaper review segment. Up next, we are going straight to take APM's candidates familiarization tour before we go into other things this morning.
The governorship candidate of the Allied People's Movement, APM, in Oyo State ahead of the 2027 general elections, Honorable Bimbo Adekombi, has commenced a tour of local government areas across the state. The tour was aimed at appreciating grassroots members of the party, on whose behalf the consensus that led to the emergence of the candidates for the various contestable positions was made by the party leaders. On Tuesday, this outgoing week, the Oyo State APM governorship candidate, Honorable Bimbo Adekombi, and his entourage were the guests of party stalwarts and faithful in Ibarapa land. It was a warm reception for the Allied People's Movement governorship candidate in Oyo State, Honorable Bimbo Adekombi, as party leaders and supporters gathered in Ibarapa to welcome him on what he described as a homecoming. Addressing party faithful, Honorable Adekombi appreciated the warm reception and commended the administration of Governor Seyi Makinde for creating a secure environment and embarking on infrastructural projects across the state, particularly within the Ibarapa axis. He explained that the visit was organized on behalf of all candidates selected during the party's primaries to personally appreciate party members at the grassroots for their commitment and sacrifices. According to him, the party's candidates emerged through a consensus process, making it necessary to visit members in their respective communities and reaffirm their commitments to inclusive leadership.
On behalf of all the candidates, we came to see the real engine room of a party who have the members, the leaders, the real people who do the groundwork for the party. Because as you remember, during the primaries, not everybody will be able to come to Ibadan or be able to meet the candidates in person. So it's imperative that we come here to show them that we acknowledge all the efforts they took. We are grateful for all their work. We pledge that by the time we win the next government 2027, it's going to be an inclusive governance.
In their separate remarks, the chairman of the APM in Oyo State, Otumba Adegbero Fagbemi, and the chairman of the APM PDP Alliance, Honorable Dayo Ogunbenro, described the alliance as a formidable political platform and urged members to remain united and avoid actions capable of creating division within the party. Party stakeholders, including the Commissioner for Local Government and Chieftaincy Matters, Honorable Ademola Ojo, and the member representing Ibarapa Central, Ibarapa North Federal Constituency, Dr. Anthony Adepoju, also reaffirmed their commitment to strengthen party unity ahead of the next general elections. They expressed confidence in the leadership qualities and public service experience of Honorable Adekombi, describing him as a candidate with the vision and capacity to move Oyo State forward.
When you have someone that has a plan as to how to move the state forward, that's the one I think we should support. If you look at Honorable Bimbo Adekombi, which by the grace of God I know will be the next governor of Oyo State, he's ready. On day one, I'm sure this is not someone that will have to start tutoring at what to do. He knows what to do.
And incoming governor, this is an advantage for him to what I'm going to be. And continue. The senatorial district is Senate. So
the familiarization tour forms part of the APM's ongoing consultations and mobilization efforts across your state as the party intensifies preparations for the 2027 general elections. On Wednesday, the train moved to Ido and Oluyole local government areas where they were received amidst celebrations. Party faithful of the Allied People's Movement, APM, turned out in large numbers to receive the party's governorship candidate, Honorable Bimbo Adekombi, alongside candidates for other elective positions during the familiarization and appreciation visit to Ido and Oluyole local government areas. Addressing members at both venues, the APM state chairman, Otumba Adegbenro Fagbemi, said the party remains united and focused on securing victory in the 2027 general elections, stressing that no distraction would derail its resolve. Also speaking, the chairman of the APM-PDP Alliance, Honorable Dayo Ngbenro, urged members to promote the alliance across the state without discrimination. He called on former aspirants to put aside their differences and work collectively for the success of the party. Similarly, party leaders including Alhaji Kamaru Aderibigbe, Dr. Bola Adetuji, and Honorable Dekpo Oyedokun stressed that unity and cooperation among members are essential to sustain the achievements of Governor Seyi Makinde's administration. They urged all stakeholders to rally behind the party's consensus candidates, expressing confidence that ongoing mobilization efforts will translate into victory at the 2027 polls. Addressing party members, Honorable Bimbo Adekombi said the visit was aimed at appreciating the grassroots members whose support forms the foundation of the party. He assured members of inclusive leadership, promising fairness, equal opportunities, and unwavering commitments to the ideals of the party.
This is a thank you tour to appreciate the people for their belief in the leadership of Engineer Oluseyi Makinde, for their belief in the party, for their steadfastness, staying with the party at all times, for allowing the candidates to emerge via consensus without rancor. And we came to charge them that yes, this is a party thing. We all work together without fear or favor and with equity and fairness to all party men.
The Oluyole meeting featured cultural performances by members of the Theatre Arts and Motion Pictures Practitioners Association of Nigeria, TAMPAN, in the local government. In Ido local government, Honorable Adekombi inaugurated a campaign vehicle donated by a party stalwart to support mobilization ahead of the electioneering campaign. Earlier, the governorship candidate met with traditional rulers in Ido local government as part of efforts to deepen community engagement and strengthen support for the party. On Thursday, the team were hosted by the combined gathering of loyalists and faithful of the party from Akinyele and Lagelu local government areas, which constitute a federal constituency. The familiarization and thank you tour was aimed at formally presenting the Allied People's Movement APM candidates in Oyo State ahead of the 2027 general elections. Presenting the governorship candidate, Honorable Bimbo Adekombi, to party stakeholders, the state chairman of the APM, Otumba Fagbemi Adegbenro, and the chairman of the Oyo State PDP APM Alliance, Chief Dayo Ngbenro, commended Governor Seyi Makinde for laying a solid foundation for sustainable governance, which they said has made it easier for the party to confer support across the state. They appealed to party members to remain steadfast and support all candidates who emerged through consensus, urging members of both the APM and the PDP in the alliance to work together in the interest of peace, unity, and electoral success. Addressing the stakeholders, Honorable Bimbo Adekombi appreciated members for their unwavering commitment to the party, describing the visit as an opportunity to strengthen ties with the grassroots. He urged party leaders to ensure fairness and inclusiveness in the distribution of party benefits, pledging to remain just and equitable to all stakeholders.
lè ṣe àwọn àgbèrè o àti gbogbo táàsì ní oṣù pàdé o ìgbẹ́lẹ̀ láti lọ mẹ́tẹ̀ẹ̀kẹ́
Party leaders from the two local government areas, including Chief Julius Akinshola, Chief Oribayo Okeyode, and former aspirant Otumba Oluseye Opatoki, pledged their unwavering commitment to the party's victory in the 2027 general elections. Various groups within the APM-PDP alliance were on hand with banners and posters to reaffirm their loyalty to the party and demonstrate their acceptance of its candidates. That was the report from familiarization and thank you tour of local government areas by the Oyo State APM governorship candidate, Honorable Bimbo Adekombi, and leaderships of the APM and the PDP-APM alliance in the state. With Kazim Ijaoye behind the camera, I'm Adebayo Abdurafi for Saturday Special.
Welcome back to Saturday Special on the Broadcasting Corporation of Oyo State. We're now in our interview segment, and of course, this morning we have two esteemed guests here in our studio, and we'll be looking at what we call International Day of Cooperatives. Cooperatives, powerful or powerless? That's what we're looking at this morning. And in line of that conversation, on the 16th of December 1992, the United Nations General Assembly proclaimed in Resolution 4790, the first Saturday of July 1995, to be International Day of Cooperatives, marking the centenary of the establishment of the International Cooperative Alliance. Since 1995, the United Nations International Day of Cooperative has been observed jointly alongside International Cooperative Day. Cooperatives around the world celebrate the day in various fashion, and each year the organizing institution agree on the theme for the celebration. The 2010 theme was Cooperative Enterprise, Empower Women, to coincide with the 15th anniversary of the Beijing Platform for Action. To do justice to the conversation this morning, we have Mr. Idowu Olawoyin, who is the Director of Cooperative Department, Oyo State Ministry of Industry, Investment, Trade and Cooperative. You're welcome this morning. Thank you very much for coming on the program.
Good morning and welcome.
All right, our second guest is also an esteemed Nigerian, Dr. Ibrahim Abdulganiyu. He is the Provost, Federal Cooperative College, Ibadan, Oyo State. You're welcome this morning to the program.
Thank you very much and good morning.
Good morning. Provost, let's begin from you and tell us what is it about cooperative. When we talk about cooperative, what does it mean? Why do people go into cooperative? I mean, some of us have never even participated in cooperative and our lives have moved forward. So tell us, what's this about cooperative? Tell us what it's all about and we'll take it up from there.
Thank you very much and good morning once again. Cooperative, as the name implies, is the coming together of like minds.
Okay.
For their own economic prosperity, to drive whatever they are into in terms of businesses. People coming together, and it's more of a democratic coming together of people so that they can be able to visualize what they want to achieve together. If they are into businesses, they come together in terms of pooling resources together, particularly in terms of finance. And from this pool of finance, people, members, benefit from that finances to really move their life forward. It goes beyond that, because today, what we have as cooperative, even before now, cooperative drives national development. And we all know that even in Nigeria, before now, all the past cocoa that we have in the north, in the southwest Nigeria here, were driven by cooperatives coming together. Before the discovery of oil, we all know that agriculture was the mainstay of the economy of Nigeria, and this was driven by cooperative societies.
Okay, let me quickly come to Mr. Olawoyin. Mr. Olawoyin, I'd like us to go back memory lane.
Yeah.
Now, when we talk about cooperatives, how did it start? Because I remember that in the olden days, like we always call it was more trade by barter. I have this, you take that. So how did we come into cooperative? How did that system emerge in Nigeria?
That's very nice. Good morning, everyone. Cooperation has been in existence in Nigeria, with our fathers, our forefathers. They have been engaging in self-help to assist each and every one of the community in terms of ajo, isusu, and the likes. And throughout the world, all over the world, cooperative or cooperation has been in existence. In Germany, in Israel, and other countries of the world like that, cooperation has been existing. But in 1844, after the Second World War, all over the world, there are changes. That World War brought about this industrial revolution. This industrial revolution taught people of those days many lessons. So that was the beginning of cooperative, this modern cooperative that we are practicing today. So the cooperative that we are practicing today started in 1844 in England, in Rochdale, a city in England. They were called Rochdale Equitable Pioneers. Now, as I said, cooperation has been going on until when it got to Nigeria. This modern cooperative that we are practicing got to Nigeria through the government of the Western Nigeria then. The self-help that has been practicing then, such as ajo, eshushu, aro, they were not formalized. They were not recognized by government. So the government of the Western Nigeria then sent someone, Mr. C.F. Strickland, because that person has served in India before. So, and he has noted the achievement cooperative has made in that country of India. So he was sent there to go and learn, to go and study. He studied the economy of India and the economy of Nigeria. So within a period of 9 months, he came back with a report. That report was submitted to the government of that day. That was in 1934, because he left in 1933. By 1934, he was able to come back to give reports back to the government. So that was the beginning of what we call cooperative of today, because when he came back, the government of the day studied his report. They now established the Department of Cooperative to be headed by Mr. Egg, Mr. E.F. Egg, Major E.F. Egg, part of the colonialists then. So that was the beginning of cooperative, the modern cooperative, which we are practicing today in Nigeria and all over the world.
All right, thank you for breaking it down that way. But then, I'm curious. Over years, you've seen a lot of evolutions, especially in the financial world.
Yeah.
You're talking about a movement from some certain type of banks. Now we have commercial banks. I'm curious as to what exactly differentiates the cooperatives that we have today from those commercial banks, from some of the schemes that we have seen in recent times. Because when you mentioned self-help, I remember there was a scheme that came several years back.
Yes.
And some people were, get help, provide help, do this, do that with this other person. And they were trying to build communities, but they barely lasted. So what exactly is the difference between all of those and the cooperatives?
All right.
I think I'll
Okay.
Okay. There's a very wide difference between the normal banking sector that we are talking about and cooperative societies. You see, the coming together of people, just like the director actually went to the memory lane, cooperative comes together to actually decide on how they actually want to operate their society. And one major difference between the cooperative we are talking about and the formal sector is in the return of the capital, the cost of capital, which they pull together. Because this capital belongs to them, and they also decide what will be the interest rate on the capital they put together. And that is a major difference from the normal commercial financial setting that we are talking about. And this actually gives quite a lot of leverage for people to come together. This is what we are talking about. The agenda that we talk about, even presently as I speak, I'm also a member of such group where we contribute on a monthly basis a particular amount, and we already have, a date by which each and every one of us will be, we have access to this money that we put together. In fact, once it is my turn, I just see a lot from members. But an advancement of cooperative from that is that when people come together, they also have executives that controls the society, and they have rules that guides the society. Particularly when money is put together, that money has, the difference is that it is being controlled by them, and there is a very limited cost to capital, which make members to have access to this capital that is put together. In some cases, it will be twice your contribution. In fact, in some society, 3 times the contribution they put into the pool of the fund that is available for the society. So that brings a kind of liberality into the operations of cooperative society as different from the formal sector of the banks.
No. Okay, sir. Thank you very much, sir. I want to add to what my provost has said. One major difference between conventional system of business or other businesses, including banks, is the ownership. The ownership of cooperative lies on the members.
Yeah.
Whereas in other businesses, one individual can rise up today and say, I want to own a bank. If he has that capacity to own that bank, if he has that capital base, to form that bank, he is the owner. But for cooperative, no singular person can say, I'm the owner of this cooperative society. No. It is owned and controlled by members. So if you're a member of cooperative, you have equal rights in society. You have equal opportunity. You have opportunity to partake in all the activities of the cooperative. But in other conventional other conventional systems, one single person can say, I'm the owner I'm the controller, I'm decision maker.